Hey there, Alex Kidman from finder.com.au with our video unboxing of the brand new Huawei Mate 10 Pro. Now, the Mate 10 Pro itself won't actually launch in Australia till December. We've got one relatively early through Huawei. It's just turned up in the office, so I haven't taken a single thing out of this box as yet. Now, Huawei's obviously come from strength to strength in the mobile game in recent years. For the longest time, they were doing phones for other people under other brands. Then they launched as themselves, generally with kind of quite cheap and cheerful phones, before branching out into more premium experiences. It's really when they launched the first P-series phone, the P9, with lighter lenses, that they started to really compete in this space. The follow-up Mate 9 and especially the P10 and P10 Plus were really, really good phones. For the latest Mate series, and these are their productivity phones, they've gone for a very, very split strategy. In fact, you've got the much, much cheaper Mate 10 Lite, which here in Australia is the Nova 2i, and we've already done a full review and video review of that, which you can check out on Finder. Then there's the Mate 10 and then the Mate 10 Pro, which is the top of the range phone. And here it is, and without further ado, I'll get on with taking it out of its box. As I say, I haven't actually lifted this yet, and there's always the possibility that Huawei has sent me a reviewer's model. Now, the difference there is that it might have the wrong accessories, it might just have the phone. That happens from time to time. Let's find out. So, nice solid box, and here we have the phone, and it's even in the right color. Here in Australia, we will only see the Mate 10 Pro that you can see here in this rather attractive dark blue shade. If you see a similar looking phone in black, that's the Mate 10. That's kind of how you can tell them apart from screen size difference, because the Mate 10 Pro has a 6-inch 18:9 full screen display, where the Mate 10 has, off the top of my head, 5.9 inch. I'm probably going to get corrected on that, but it's only a 16:9 display, so there's a slight bit more kind of bezel action going on there. We have the requisite little bit of tape that tells you where all the controls and SIM setups are. Being that the Mate 10 Pro in Australia will be an Optus exclusive, I imagine it'll be single SIM when it comes via Optus, although there may well be import ones that land in the country that will be dual SIM. It's quite a nice physical design, very smooth. I'm a bit of a sucker, I've got to admit, for blue phones. They tickle my fancy bone, maybe not yours. Although you can predictably also tell, don't know how well this will come through on the camera, that it's already a bit of a fingerprint magnet. It looks like a crime scene, but it's nice, it's solid, and it's simple too. It's just, volume controls, power button, fingerprint sensor at the back, no sign of, Face ID, although apparently that will come for Android phones next year, so we hear. Underneath, of course, all this shiny, glossy fingerprint magnetness lurks Huawei's new Kirin 970 processor. Huawei does its own silicon, and for the Mate 10 and Mate 10 Pro, it's supplementing it with a neural processing unit that it claims boosts performance by up to 50%. Now, as you can see, I haven't even switched this phone on yet, so I can't entirely gauge how true that is. I have had a small amount of hands-on time, and you can check out that video as well, with some Mate 10 and Mate 10 Pro handsets that were already set up, but largely only to test the photographic features. And of course, the camera's another big part of this particular phone. As with previous premium Huawei cameras, it's Leica lenses, in this case the Summilux lenses, similar to the P10 Pro, with one monochrome and one RGB sensor. You can shoot in straight monochrome, you can shoot in straight RGB, you can shoot with both for a more pleasing effect. Typically better for portraits than anything else, but it does give you a fair bit of photographic flexibility. It's undeniably should be a better camera experience than I found, for example, with the Nova 2i, which admittedly has 4 cameras, but that secondary camera is just one for depth effects, and it's low megapixel, relatively low quality. Fine for its price range. This absolutely should be better, especially given the price it commands. Now, this appears to me to be, in fact, the full retail box, which is kind of nice, and we'll find out when we flip this up and we discover even more black cardboard, but that happens. And we have in here, we get a case as well. Nice enough little inclusion. Obviously not something that you should really do without. A lot of people tend to not like phone cases because they ruin the style. I tend to think that when you drop this and you smash it, that really ruins the style, whereas having it in some kind of slender case, I think I've put this on upside down, but there we go. That's what you get for putting an unfamiliar phone together. as I was saying, putting it into a simple enough little case gives it that level of protection that means that 6, 12, 18, 24 months down the track, it can still look pretty good. And obviously, if you intend to on-sell the phone or give it to someone else, it's nicer to give someone a better phone and you'll get a better price for it if you're selling it. Cases aside, we've also got, of course, the requisite SIM tool. Everyone has a SIM tool. This is Huawei's. It's a pin. What more can I say? Across to the side, we've then got, and I can now see that this is indeed the full Australian retail box because we've got an Australian retail plug. Now, the Mate 10 and Mate 10 Pro use Huawei's proprietary supercharge standard. Now, they've gone to some pains to point out that they've paired up with a German lab, the name of which sadly eludes me right this second as I'm speaking, for battery testing. The Mate 10 Pro has a 4,000 milliamp battery, so that actually should give it really good battery life, but the supercharge should also enable you to do relatively quick charging, of course, from this charger only. Because they're not going down the Qualcomm Snapdragon 835 route, you can't use its fast chargers for fast charging, although any standard charger should still deliver a trickle charge. 4,000 milliamps is quite a bit, so a slower charger is going to be slow. This is going to be faster. In terms of everything else that you get, well, obviously a USB cable. In this case, it's going to be USB-C because most, if not all, premium phones, Apple excluded, are USB-C these days. Nice thing about USB-C, if you've not hit it before, of course, is that it's fully reversible, so there's no wrong way to plug it in. You also get some headphones, and look, let's face it, I'm not actually holding out huge hopes for these as being absolute premium headphones because that doesn't tend to happen. Although the standard of pack-in headphones has gotten a little better, you will find that a decent pair of headphones, a decent proper third-party set of headphones might do you better audio. The important thing to note here though, and one of the big differences between the Mate 10 Pro and the Mate 10, this is a USB-C set of headphones, and that's because, like the Pixel, like the iPhone, there's no headphone socket. Huawei's done away with it for the Mate 10 Pro only. The Mate 10 manages the headphone socket, this doesn't. So it's USB-C audio or Bluetooth only. Now, I think that's enough about the phone, and there's certainly nothing left in the box to show off, so I better get on with testing this phone so I can deliver a full review to you, which you'll find at Finder. Thanks for watching.